What's up everyone, Darcblade here bringing you a news video for Dragon Age Inquisition. This is regarding patch 8 that was released yesterday. Patch 8 comes with many changes and new additions. It mostly focuses on the multiplayer though. For the single player though, it does introduce the new save importer, a feature that allows players to migrate their single player and multiplayer data to new consoles. So that's players who want to upgrade from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or even PC I believe. This follows the news that the new DLC unfortunately won't be on the older system, so PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 users unfortunately won't have access to this DLC. It does make me concerned that BioWare may be stopping support for them systems, but we'll see. Now like I said, apart from the save importer, most of the changes and new additions apply to the multiplayer with patch 8. The first introduction is that they've introduced new and rare high-level weapons, including some from the Avar clans. Unfortunately, I have yet to unlock any of these high-level weapons, but here's hoping that they are good, as I'll mention why in a minute. Next, they've introduced one new Tier 4 accessory. Again, unfortunately, at the time of making this video, I'm not too sure what that accessory is, but here's hoping again that is a good one. Next, they've introduced the Proving Grounds, a new tutorial level accessible from the class selection screen. So basically, when you're choosing your character, if you press L2 on the PlayStation 4 or whatever button it is on your system, then you'll go into a tutorial map. This map is fairly simple, filled with low-level enemies, as well as a CPU AI team that follows you about. Here you can test out your character, your spec, your weapons, gear, and so on. It's a fairly safe environment to introduce new players to the game too, as you are given a walkthrough as well on how the game functions. You will also be able to gain a little bit of experience and a little bit of gold from doing these Proving Ground matches. Next is a big one. They've introduced Nightmare difficulty, a step up from Perilous. Now I already thought Perilous was a difficult setting, unless you're playing with a team of friends who you know, or have a team that synergizes well with the right gear, weapons, spec, etc. Then Perilous was quite difficult, especially for just pickup groups. Nightmare will step this up even more. So with Nightmare difficulty you really do have to go with a team of players you know or knows how to play. Going in there with a high level character, the right spec, the right gear is all essential for success in Nightmare difficulty. I believe also this is where the Tier 4 accessory and the new rare high level weapons will come into play. With these I assume that Nightmare difficulty might be a bit more doable. This seems to be following the same footsteps as what they did for the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer when they introduced the Platinum difficulty. And like with my Mass Effect 3 multiplayer class guides, I believe any future guides I make on the characters in Dragon Age Inquisition's multiplayer will be done on the Perilous difficulty rather than the Nightmare difficulty, as I believe Perilous best demonstrates what a character can do on all difficulty levels. Also not listed in the patch notes is actually the introduction of an even harder mode, Heartbreaker mode, that is only for the most insane of players or most organised of teams. All that I said regarding Nightmare mode applies to Heartbreaker mode, but even more so. This should provide the greatest of challenges to players who are looking for the most out of the Dragon Age Inquisition multiplayer, although be it when I say challenge it feels more unfair than challenging. Next, they fixed an issue that caused the multiplayer menu to be reloaded after a quick match failure. This was just a simple bug fix, nothing much to say on this, just glad they're ironing out the creases. Next, they fixed an issue when using reset ability point items with a full inventory. I'm not 100% sure what the bug with that was, but I was aware of it, but it never happened to me, so I can't comment too much on it. Again, no, ironing out the creases. Next, they fixed an issue that could prevent multiplayer maps from streaming in during high latency matches. Now I know this happened to a lot of my friends where they would go into one section of the map, say round 3 or something, and the map just wouldn't load. They'd be staring into an empty skybox, unable to help. It also meant the team was a man down. So I'm glad they finally fixed this one. And lastly, for the multiplayer fixes and changes, they fixed the text for the challenge Relentless Pursuit to list the correct multiplayer characters. Again, only a minor change, but glad they've done it. Now they've fixed two technical changes for the PlayStation 4 only. They fixed the crash that could occur when installing the Flames of the Inquisition items. This should no longer happen. And lastly, they fixed an issue that prevented joining a multiplayer match via the PlayStation 4 friends list. This should no longer be a problem and you should now be able to join your friends. So that was patch 8. Overall, it's quite a multiplayer heavy patch, so if you're into the multiplayer, this is great. I welcome the new high level weapons and tier 4 accessory. Hopefully it will make Nightmare difficulty a little bit more manageable. As for Nightmare difficulty itself, I do believe only the most hardcore or well geared players will attempt it. It definitely won't be newcomer friendly, but it does give them players who have been playing all this time a little bit of extra challenge, and those with a dedicated team that take on the multiplayer matches will welcome this. As for the proving grounds, this is great for newcomers, and hopefully will usher in some new players into the Dragon Age multiplayer community. However, I do feel a little bit sorry for the PlayStation 3 and 360 users, as the save importer is almost like saying that BioWare may discontinue the support for those systems. Anyway, what do you think of patch 8? Is it good or is it bad? Leave a comment down below. And until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you a news video regarding patch 8 on Dragon Age Inquisition. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.